the good life, full of fun.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. What do you say we take a trip to Tuscany, Italy? Isn't that going to be fantastic? I want to share with you a great recipe on Italian Tuscan soup, right? I believe that onion soup was actually invented in mid to southern Italy, and then it was actually brought up to France, is what I understand. And I don't think that should shock any of us because Italians created everything, right? But in any case, I'm going to have some argument from you guys on that. So I'm going to go over ingredients with you, and then we're going to get rocking, we're going to get cooking. So I got about a pound of Italian red onion, which is a sweeter onion. I've got some green onions here. Green onions are a little bit more earthy. You know, they're not going to have the bite of an onion, but they're certainly an earthier feel, earthier flavor. A little bit on the, I wouldn't say the sweet side, but a little bit more on the grassy side. And then I've got some cipollini onions. So I've got about a pound of cipollini onions. They're going to be a little bit sweeter, but they got a lot of depth to it in their flavor. And I've got about 1/3 of a pound of green onions. So we're going to create a texture of onions using different variety of onions, which is always going to give it a beautiful, delicious flavor. Now what I've got is some garlic. We got 3 cloves of garlic, and then I've got about 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary. Oh, that is just, you know, rosemary goes so great with lamb or beef, and that's what our stock's going to be, right? And then I've got 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. Thyme is grassy and earthy. It just gives you that gorgeous flavor. What I've got now is some butter. So I've got 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And then one of the best parts of this Tuscan style soup, right, is that cheese. You know, you take that cheese and you put it on top and you just caramelize it and it gets gooey and chewy, and Parmigiano Reggiano, which is fantastic. And I've got a cup of that. I mean, if you can get the real stuff, man, from Italy, that is the way to go. And it's got a little bit more bite to it, and it's got those crystals that crunch to it. And then I got a cup of fontina cheese. So we're gonna mix those two, and they're gonna blend beautifully because the fontina is a little bit creamier, and then the Parmesan's got a little bit more of a bite to it, a little bit of a kick to it. I've got here 6 cups of beef broth. So again, that's why those herbs are going to go so great with that beef or lamb. You can use a lamb broth, which is fantastic. And then I've got some Tuscan style bread. Isn't that perfect? Like a little bit of a topper. You know, and it's got that rustic feel. Now, if you can, let it get a little bit stale. Let it get a little dry. And the reason you want that is even though you're going to toast it, you're going to pop it right in the soup, and it's going to absorb all that beautiful flavor. If you can't, just cut it up and then throw it in the oven for about 30 minutes at about 150 degrees. And what that'll do is it'll dry it right out. It'll kind of stale it rapidly, okay? Obviously, we're going to want some salt. So I use the pink Himalayan because it's sexy, okay? I've got some fresh ground pepper. And as you guys know, at least my regulars, we've got a farm in Italy. We make some of the best olive oil, true extra virgin Italian trees olive oil you'll ever have in your life. So Vito and Joe's after my 2 boys. It's from Puglia, Italy, just above the heel. It's grassy, earthy, peppery. So you grab us on either Amazon or Facebook or on my website, Cooking Italian with Joe, and you can order yourself a bottle. Comes in a large or small. We drop ship it right to your house. I call it a bottle of Italy right in your kitchen. So the part of this recipe that takes the longest amount of time is the onions. I'm going to start with my Italiano red, okay, rosa, cipolla, okay, or onion. And I want to cut this in a way that I have an onion. Like I'm not trying to dice it. I want to actually have some onion. I want to cut it in larger chunks. So I'm going to take the onion, just cut the top off, okay, and the bottom. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right in half. And then what that'll do is that'll make it easier to peel. And then what I want to do is I want to cut it in a large, thicker chunk. So, you know, say at least 1/4 inch, something just like that. Because that's going to caramelize right down. You go too small, it'll turn into a mush. Awesome, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these right up. Okay, next I've got my scallions. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean these up. Now remember, we want cut those caps off. And now we're going to want some of this grass because we want that grassy feel in the scallion, okay? So I want to cut them a little thicker, you see what I mean? I don't want them really thin. And then when you come up into this grass, don't be afraid of that because that'll cook down and it looks beautiful in your soup. And then my general rule is as soon as it starts getting really hollow, that's pretty much where I'm done. Look at that. You know, and that's Tuscany, that's Italy, that's rustic, that's, hey, I'm gonna go in the garden, let me see what I got. and I'm gonna mix it in there and just put, you know, that love of what you made. I got my cipollini onions in here. So same thing, and I'm gonna cut that right in half, and then I'm gonna peel it. My cipollini, again, I wanna do a nice rustic cut. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Is that just gorgeous? I mean, that should look like a garden. All right, now we're gonna caramelize. So I'm gonna get that olive oil. You're gonna use a good chunk of olive oil now, so you're gonna use about 1/3 of a cup or more. You're gonna get that in there, Vito and Joe's. Oh my God, is that delicious? Greatest olive oil in the world. All right, did I plug that already? What I wanna do is I wanna give everything a stir. Try to get at least the chunks covered in the oil, because the oil will be able to get hotter than the water. Now we're gonna caramelize this. This is gonna take a good, 15 to 30 minutes. And you gotta watch it because you don't want it to burn. And I'm gonna give it a lid. Well, that's going, I wanna get my garlic going. All right, so the garlic doesn't take as long, so I just wanna get this rocking. Oh, oh my God, do you just love that? Some people wanna clean their hands after garlic. I like that my hands smell like garlic after. You know what I mean? I mean, you're with somebody and they don't like garlic, I got a question. You gotta truly rethink your friends. Why are you in my life? So we want a thin slice. What I like to do is just come across a little bit of an angle, you know what I mean? It's just easier to get it. Perfecto, finito. Oh, that smells good. So I wanna cut this. Now this bread's just a little stale. I'm gonna chunk it. And then I'm gonna, so you can pop that right in there. So I've got these going. Now what I'd like is I wanna have some for the side. So I'm gonna slice up some in the soup. So in this case, I'm gonna go about 1/2 inch. So perfect. I keep stirring up those onions. Now I wanna prep that bread. So what I wanna do is just lay the bread out, because we wanna grill it. We wanna caramelize the bread. We wanna give it that rustic flavor. And now I'm gonna take some olive oil, right? My Vito and Joe's. Did I plug that already? And I just wanna give it a nice little brush. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of my salt. And it'll stick to the olive oil. And then I want some freshly ground pepper, okay? And then what I do is, just to make sure it's in there, I take a little bit more of the olive oil / pressure of my brush, just to keep it in there, right? Now I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna repeat. Now I've got my chunks that I'm putting in the bowl. So same thing, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna get them all oiled up, right? Outside, everything. And then same thing, salt them up, outside, inside, and then hit them with your pepper. So I want to grill these, and I want to get those marks, and I want to caramelize, get it tasting great. It's going to bring out that sugar and that extra deep flavor. Beautiful, got them right on that grill. Okay, while the bread's going, give the onions, isn't that beautiful? Oh my God, can you guys smell that? I got smell-o-vision coming right in, man. Look at that. Oh, that's done, look at that. Is that gorgeous or what? So we're going to put that right in the soup, but right now is when we want to start adding some goodies. I want to add my garlic. Next I want to add that butter. Next I got that 1/2 teaspoon of thyme. Again, thyme goes wonderful with any type of meat. And see, I'm adding all this now because I want all these flavors to marinate. Get that rosemary in. Well, all that goodness is coming to the end. Now, I put the broiler on in the oven, top burner, about 400 degrees, okay? Because we're gonna put everything in that bowl, put the cheese on there. Kick it in there and get that caramelized, okay? There's one other thing that I didn't include in the ingredients and not everybody adds it. Some people don't like to add alcohol, but I'm gonna add a little bit of the Boreo's secret ingredient right there. And you know what that is? That's grappa. You guys know what that is? Oh, that right there is the cure-all in the Boreo family. You guys ever see that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where he would use Windex and everything? My dad would use, my dad and Nana and Nona and Nono and everybody, they would use grappa. So I don't care what the problem was, you know, grappa to the rescue. Rub it on something. If you weren't feeling good, it was on your chest. The reason you add alcohol is because it acts as like a solvent. So what it's going to do is the alcohol is going to help extract some flavors that you wouldn't be able to get out. Guys, one of the best ways to make sure your Tuscan style onion soup comes out phenomenal, subscription to Cooking Italian with Joe's YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that little red button right down in the corner. Makes you part of the family, you know what I'm saying? What you're looking for is that brown. See how it's just starting to get brown? That is beautiful. Okay, so we're where we want to be. Now I'm going to take that grappa. All right, we're gonna get a little naughty here. We'll add a little bit. And you're gonna add a little, you know, about an ounce or so. That's gonna bubble out quick, see that? All right, a little bit more, all right. See now what that's gonna do, it deglazes everything. You can use a wine if you want, no problem. Can you smell that right there? Well, I'm gonna salt this up. Now, my beef stock doesn't have a lot of salt in it, okay? So, I'm gonna give myself about a half a teaspoon there. And then I'm gonna go at least a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of black pepper. Now it's time to add that 6 cups of beef stock. I've let this heat up now for a few minutes, so it's got a nice rapid boil for about 5 minutes, okay? And that's gonna marry all those flavors. Can you guys taste that right there? Oh. What I did is I married my 2 cheeses, okay? And then I've got my bowls here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put those chunks of bread right in my bowl. So now I'm just gonna take the soup, put it right in the dish. So I always get that bottom ladle first, so I got a lot of onion in there. Oh yeah, that's good. And just take the remaining soup and get them all filled up. I'm trying to grab those leftover onions. Now it's chewy, gooey cheese time. So I'm gonna load these up. Oh yeah. Just pile it right on top. My attitude is you can't have enough cheese. So I'm gonna hit them in the broiler, and you know, we're talking 5 to 7 minutes. You gotta keep an eye on it. You wanna bubble and caramelize. You guys ready for goodness? Oh, that is good right there. That is rustic Tuscan, you know, that beautiful flavor. See how the bread and the cheese, perfect caramelization right there. So I'm gonna take a chunk of that bread. I want some of that crust. So I've got onion, bread, and the crusted cheese. Oh, first thing that comes out is the onion. It's so hot. Oh, I wish I could just give that right to you, right through the lens. Taste-o-vision, smell-o-vision. It's on its way, I'm sure. I tell you, that cheese right away and the beef stock just comes through with the onion flavor just hitting you. And then you got the texture of the bread, you know, that Tuscan style bread with the crunch. And you got flavor all the way through, you know, because we flavored the bread as well. And then you're left with that cheese, that chewy, gooey fontina with the Parmesan. You got the rosemary, the thyme, the garlic. And then you got that nice little side dish with the bread, you know, so you can take a little bit of whatever you want right on top of that. You see what I mean? It's brilliant, I know. That's Tuscan style onion soup right there, man. Cipollini, oh my God, absolutely delicious. Fantastic. Guys, don't forget, shut off the electronics, shut off the TV, you know, make a mess in the kitchen, surround that kitchen with your friends and your family and your kids. Create some memories and set those traditions and celebrate your heritage and, you know, really make something that you can enjoy not only generations from now, but you know, when I think back, and so much of what I share with you guys are really just great, wonderful, loving memories that I had with my parents and my grandparents, and I love to share every week with you guys some of what we made every single week. It's so wonderful. Guys, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Anytime you subscribe, I'd love to have you part of the family. You know what I'm saying? We'll send you an email, we'll send you some notifications, my trips to Italy, some tips, some cooking tips. Jump on and grab yourself a bottle of olive oil. Vito and Joe's on Amazon, Cooking Italian Joe, or certainly our Facebook. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our channel. What else is there? Have some fun in the kitchen with your family, guys. Until next week, buon appetito.
A good life full of fun seems